You think you know Edgar Wright? Well, here's some things you may not have known about the Three Flavors Cornetto Trilogy director. Edgar Wright began making films for fun with his friends when he was 14. He primarily used a Super 8 camera that was gifted to him from a family member and then moved on to using a Video 8 camcorder. This camcorder he actually won on the BBC program Going Live for a small stop-motion film that he made in one night. He attended the Bournemouth and Poole College of Art and graduated in 1994, receiving his National Diploma in Audiovisual Design. It was in the same year that he made his feature film debut at only 20 years old. Wright was sorely disappointed with the final product, a spoof western titled A Fistful of Fingers. Despite his dissatisfaction, Wright garnered the attention of Paramount Comedy Channel and chose him to direct Mash and Peas. It was working with this channel that Wright met Simon Pegg and Jessica Stevenson. It wasn't until Spaced came along that Wright became well known. The show was directed by Wright and written by him, Stevenson, and Pegg, and was both a critical and popular success. Spaced ran for 2 seasons, and Wright earned a BAFTA nomination for each season. Wright doesn't like the idea of having much of a social media presence during a film's production, and lightly admonishes directors who actively use platforms such as Twitter while filming. He states, quote, "You're making a movie. The number one thing you have to do is get off the internet. When I see some directors who tweet, I think the best work comes from when you work in a bubble, at least during the making of it, because you can't listen to everybody." Edgar Wright was helping to develop Ant-Man for Marvel for some time before abruptly and unceremoniously leaving the project. Cited were creative differences. Despite the seemingly tense situation, much of Wright's script and ideas were left intact and saw production, perhaps due to how close to production the split came. Wright believes that imperfection and being humble is the key to success. He doesn't believe that any of the films he has made are perfect, but are a part of his own personal coming-of-age story. Quote, "I'm always just striving to do better. I think any director who sits back and says, 'My film is perfect,' is either a liar or the most arrogant person on this earth." Given that all of his films are predominantly comedies, Wright identifies as a comedy director, though has cited that he plans to foray into horror. He maintains that comedy is often seen by others as a lesser genre, and argues that it is more difficult to make a comedy that works well, stating, quote, "I used to make comedies when I was an amateur filmmaker because I thought nobody would take me seriously if I did them straight. It was almost like a defense mechanism, but now I'm older, I realize that comedy is an art form, and it's not to be taken lightly." And here's a bonus one. Edgar Wright is perhaps best known for his Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Written by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg, starring Pegg and Nick Frost. Shaun of the Dead features the ice cream cornetto as a hangover cure. The joke was written in by Wright and stemmed from his own personal experiences. The name of the trilogy comes from a joke originating in Hot Fuzz's promotion, when an interviewer cited that the ice cream reference in the first 2 films. Edgar Wright joked that they were included to represent a trilogy, much like the Three Colors trilogy. Apparently Walls, the company that produces Cornetto, is rather pleased with the reference. That's it for this episode of You Think You Know Movies. Make sure to subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the latest movie and TV news on ScreenCrush.com.